I just want to, before I get to the cultural segment of our show, because we had a lot to talk about in the culture, we have to talk about North Korea. Over the weekend, North Korea, Kim Jong-un seemed to have set off a test that he says was a hydrogen bomb. And obviously a hydrogen bomb much more powerful than an A bomb. It is fusion, not fission, right? It's fusion, and fusion involves fission, so that it's just like a lot stronger. A hydrogen bomb would be a lot stronger.
That sounds sciencey.
That's pretty sciencey. That sounded like I knew what I was talking about, right? And Texas was in the Confederacy as well. So Nikki Haley, who is just, I mean, I really feel for Nikki Haley. You know, she's out there talking to these people, the most useless body of human beings on earth, the United Nations. You know, they're sitting there going, you know, when can we get out to our prostitutes? You know, it's like, and she is like pleading with them. And so she really went off, and she's upping the ante. Let's take this to cut number 3.
The time has come to exhaust all of our diplomatic means before it's too late. We must now adopt the strongest possible measures. Kim Jong-un's action cannot be seen as defensive. He wants to be acknowledged as a nuclear power. But being a nuclear power is not about using those terrible weapons to threaten others. Nuclear powers understand their responsibilities. Kim Jong-un shows no such understanding. His abusive use of missiles and his nuclear threats show that he is begging for war. War is never something the United States wants. We don't want it now. But our country's patience is not unlimited. We will defend our allies and our territory.
Begging for war. And just to add, put an addendum on that, the Secretary of Defense, Jim Mattis, came out of a meeting with the president and all the security guys, and this is what he said. He added to that.
We have many military options, and the president wanted to be briefed on each one of them. We made clear that we have the ability to defend ourselves and our allies, South Korea and Japan, from any attack, and our commitments among the allies are ironclad. Any threat to the United States or its territories, including Guam, or our allies, will be met with a massive military response, a response both effective and overwhelming. Kim Jong-un should take heed of the United Nations Security Council's unified voice. All members unanimously agreed on the threat North Korea poses, and they remain unanimous in their commitment to the denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. Because we are not looking to the total annihilation of a country, namely North Korea. But as I said, we have many options to do so.
So he's basically saying, you know, don't touch that dial. We will blow you into the next century. I mean, they're really talking tough. Meanwhile, the Norks are basically making fun of him. Han Tai-sung, the ambassador from North Korea to the UN, he said, the recent self-defense measures by my country are a gift package addressed to none other than the U.S. The U.S. will receive more gift packages from my country as long as it relies on reckless provocations and futile attempts to put pressure on North Korea. You know, I think we can all agree that Kim Jong-un's personality would be deeply improved by a missile in the nose. You know, I think we can all say that, like, we would love to see this guy blown up. And my suspicion is that Trump is not going to sit around and let this get worse and worse, that he will do something. But I think the things that he will do will probably be a lot less dramatic than wiping the country off the face of the map, as satisfying as that would be at this point. I think they're going to involve that kind of long-term strategy of overthrowing the government, of encouraging North Korean dissidents, of cutting off trade and getting in the way of their trade. You know, China and Russia, this notion that China or Russia are going to help us, they love this stuff. They think this is funny. Little crazy man is making America nuts. They're happy with the whole thing, but they're not our friends. But I think that undermining the regime is the way to go, and possibly at some point killing them. You know, like this is one of the things about the '60s is the people in the '60s ruined everything, right? They got all upset about, you remember like the Bourne Identity? Oh, I'm killing people for the government, you know, just like my feeling is, please, you know, I mean, this was in the 60s, like, oh, the CIA is assassinating people. We're as bad as everybody else. Oh, we're supporting, you know, fascist governments to keep the communists out. Like, that's what we were supposed to do. That's a good idea. And like taking out this guy and making, you know, just sneaking up and back of him with a pin and exploding him because he looks like a gigantic balloon would not be a bad idea.